Today we have gathered here on the right of the Jan and very auspicious day to worship Sri Ganesh. Sri Ganesha is the first deity that was created so that the whole universe is filled with auspiciousness, with peace, bliss, and spirituality. He is the source. He is the source of spirituality. As a result of that, all other things follow. Like when it rains and is windy, you feel the coolness in the atmosphere. In the same way, when Sri Ganesha emits his power, we feel all these three things, within and without. But it has been so unfortunate, especially in the West, that the most important, fundamental deity has been completely not only neglected but insulted and crucified. So today, though I did not want to say anything to upset you people, but I must tell you that worshipping Sri Ganesha means there has to be a thorough cleansing within you. When you worship Sri Ganesha, keep your mind clean. Keep your heart clean. Keep your being clean. No thoughts of lust and greed should come up. Actually, when the Kundalini rises, Ganesha had to be awakened within us. The innocence has to come up, which obliterates all such degrading ideas within us. If ascent has to be achieved, we have to understand that we have to mature. People are sick now. All over the Western life, one feels they are sick. Sick because they have never recognized Sri Ganesh. If one Freud came, that doesn't mean that you should accept him. But you did. As if it was such an important thing to be done. There was nothing more important than that. So today we are faced with our power of ascent and the power of conditionings we have had. When Freud talked of conditioning, he didn't know he was putting another type of horrid conditionings on you. Terrible. Sex is not important for human beings at all. Is not at all important. It is only when you want to have children, actually a human being who is of the highest level will indulge into a sex. The lure, the romance, this nonsense and all that doesn't exist in a pure mind. It's all a human creation. this servility one has to that is so much surprising. It comes from a very low grading within us. It comes from the low-graded human beings. That one becomes servile to it. You should be the master of that. And today when I see around myself in the West, which is also a part and parcel of the same creation, so much of sickness that has come. I am really aghast. How to turn your attention now to the maturity of sex. When the sex matures, you become a father, a mother, and a pure personality. When you hear about a 90-year-old woman marrying a 19-year-old boy, I mean, you just don't understand. This is what sort of a society it has been created in this world. This kind of a stupid behavior. We have to mature ourselves. That doesn't mean I'm saying austerity at young age. That doesn't mean that. Another absurdity is that. But of course you must mature. You need a tapasya for that. Unimportant thing when become important, and such an important thing that they're just like anything that we have, like we have hair. Even if you lose hair, it means something. But if you lose sex, what's wrong with it? It's very good, good riddance of bad rubbish. Such a waste of energy. So much interest, so much of our precious attention, so much of auspiciousness spent in this kind of a nonsensical thing. So to worship Ganesha, one has to understand we have to mature. Maturity has to come within us. We have to go deeper within ourselves. Our attention has to go deeper within ourselves, spontaneously. How do we achieve the depth if we are still like worms? Otherwise it's a great sort of a sacrifice or a pressure on people. These tax and these pressures have been very costly for you people. Very costly. You have paid through so much. You have gone through so much for what? So, the priorities have to change if Sri Ganesha is to be worshipped. What are we worshipping today is the innocence within us. We are worshipping that is auspicious, which is innocent. Innocence which is deep down within us, that's our character, that's our nature, that's what we are born with, is the basic of this whole creation, is the essence of this creation. So when matter becomes active, all right, reproduction starts, animal stage comes in, Then comes the stage of human beings who are primitive. Then comes the stage where human beings are developed. Not the way what we understand of the developed world. Horrible. I'll never call them developed by any chance at all. What is development is not outside. What is the within development one has to see. What have we grown inside? What have we got inside ourselves? Anything that grows big is plastic of that kind. The one which hasn't got any inner power grown. Say, for example, I give you a mango. I said, all right, now you eat it. And you see, it just has the cover and nothing inside it. What will you eat? Will you eat that plastic? Anything that grown like that is plastic, is dead. What is the substance inside? Let's see. What is our substance within ourselves? This is what Christ preached. Morality point. So important for him it was. Because after dharma, which was a balance, where of course morality is very important, but it was necessary for Christ to talk of the innate, deeper morality, which is a part and parcel of our being. It is not just taught or told or frightened because there's a fear of God and wrath of God. But it should be your own innate light. That's why Christ talked about it. And the same Christ was used to demolish innocence. And I would not say that people were not born. Freud was not the only person who was born. The other day I went to Prado in Spain. And I saw paintings after paintings of the hell. And all these modern times we see those lanky-pankies going around without clothes, sort of people were shown with all kind of funny things, stupid things they were doing. This was Bosch. I was surprised, a German Bosch who showed all this nonsense there very clearly. Way to hell, then the attack of the death, all these things. I mean, he was quite a recent person. If you call Blake as a madcap, so what about Bosch? Everybody is a madcap except for the stupid, useless people. So much warning has come for us. For example, we can say, since long, we know about hell. But Mahavira, of all the persons, wrote so clearly about hell. This is hell. But in the West, the priorities are absolutely upside down. What is your power? Just think of it. Think within yourself. Is it mental power? That's important. I have told you mental power has nothing to do because it is just linear, it moves in one direction, falls off, comes back to you. It has no substance in it. It's just a mind projection. Plastic. What is your emotional power? Emotions that you have takes you where? See, you have emotions for even good emotions you have. Say, you love your wife very much. Where does it take you? There was a poet called Tulsidasa who loved his wife very much. She had gone to her mother's place. So he couldn't bear it and went to see her, and he climbed over to her balcony. And she got a fright. She said, "How did you climb?" He said, "You had put a rope there." She said, "No." They saw it was a big snake hanging. So she said, "The amount of love you have for me, if you have that for God, where will you be?" So where does these emotions take you? To frustration, to unhappiness, to our destruction. The mental power gives you a horrible thing called ego, which destroys others. And the emotional power gives you nothing but crying, weeping, and always feeling unhappy. Oh, I have done so much of emotional investment on such and such person, and what did I get? So it is not absolute, it's relative. Mentally you are zero if you cannot destroy others. Emotionally you are zero because you cannot overpower people with your emotions. So what is your power? Where does your power lie? It lies in the spirit. But even before the spirit is achieved, what is your power? Is Kundalini? She is sleeping. Then what is your power? Is your chastity. If a man is chaste temperament he has, and he stands up in his chastity, it acts. It works. But first of all, chastity pays dividend in your good health. From the face of a person you can say that this person is a chaste man. Like in our Shastras used to say, a saint or a brahmachari, one who has never had sex in life, always shining on his face. And as we say that the greatest brahmachari was Sri Krishna, who has so many wives. Because no wastage of energy, no wastage of attention is on that. So the whole energy is inside. I will say today as I was coming by car, it was raining, it was windy, it was very cold, but we were in the car. Nothing affected us because we were quite warm inside the car ourselves. We passed through everything, nothing touched us. Nothing bothered us. We came away, everything fine. How? Because we kept to our own vehicle. And the vehicle we have is our chastity. We are so particular that others must respect us. Others must give us homage. Otherwise we get into tempers. Did you respect yourself? Do you respect yourself? It sounds sometimes to people in the West that Mother is very trying to preach about Indian culture. Many people think that. But I say that one has to learn science from the West, all right. One has to learn other things from the West. Aesthetics, of course. Paintings and art, maybe. Color schemes. But culture you better learn from Indians. There's dearth of culture, no culture at all, I find. What is this culture where a woman is supposed to expose her body? It's a prostitute's culture. Simple as that. Face it up. Where a woman is not supposed to respect her private parts is no culture whatsoever in the aesthetics of the divine. So much so today that they are making a film showing Mary to be a prostitute. I mean, this is where you have ended up. In India, even if you say this, they'll beat you nicely. Anyone, whether Muslim, Hindu, Christian. I mean, it's shocking to hear that the way they talk about Christ here. I mean, to an Indian it gives a shock. How can you talk? Because once you give up your chastity, you cannot understand that there can be someone who is absolutely chaste. For a thief, everybody is a thief. Because you don't have that respect for your chastity, you cannot imagine what Christ could have been. You cannot imagine, you cannot accept. Unbearable things are said about Christ. I tell you, unbearable, I don't know. I faced his crucifixion, which was unbearable as it was. But this kind of a thing you say about somebody, to an Indian woman, if you pass such a remark, to an Indian ordinary woman, she would commit suicide. It's never said that anybody comes and says, you're looking very beautiful. It's all right, you can say to your mother, you're looking nice, it's all right, that's different. But you don't say to any woman like that. You have to turn yourself out. And this is one of the reasons why people are very hot-tempered. The magnet within you is Sri Ganesh. Many people know that I have a great sense of direction. That comes through this magnet, which is perfect. This magnet is the one which keeps you sticking or adjusted or all the time pointed towards spirit. If you don't have the sense of chastity, you will dangle this way, that way. Suddenly you become a very good Sahajogi, tomorrow you become a devil. Because there's nothing that keeps you binding to the great idea of the Spirit. Let us face it up. Now the time has come for all of us, all the Sahajogis, that the greatest thing within us is not sex, but is chastity. And that's what will mature you. It's very amazing how some people were behaving in Bodhi. I came to know about it, I was amazed. How could they behave like this before the villagers of Bodhi, who are innocent, simple people? But the best part of it that when you indulge into frivolous and nonsensical behavior, insulting your chastity, you really lack in the action of it. Like if you fritter away your petrol, your car can't move. It's like that, something happens to you. All the time you go on pinching people and frivolously talking to each other. And what is the need to do all this? I just don't understand. And then end up in the divorce case. Once I had gone to Selfridges, I must tell you a very interesting story. And in such a crowd, there were two people, man and woman, kissing each other all the time. Least bothered, there are other people who are also going on the same escalator. Escalator they were kissing. In the thing they were kissing. I mean, torturing all the Indians who were there, or maybe the other people. Chinese, for example, Egyptians. Such an exhibition was on. And I saw them next time. They were not kissing. I said, what happened? We are divorced. I said, why were you kissing that day so much? So they said, because we were going to be divorced. So we wanted to have the last bit of it. What a level it is. Imagine, what a level. What love, what feeling you have for anyone? Nothing of the kind. All the time quarreling with each other, ending up in the divorce cases, and showing off all this. Any deep personality doesn't show these things outside. Of course, I'm told here that here in the public school it is said that you should never show your emotions outside. But otherwise you can show anything else, ridiculous or shameless. But not your emotions. What an absurd place it is. You have accepted all these values, just like sheep, without thinking about it. Like I was in France, one girl came and she was crying. She said, I will, horrid, I will never go to these psychologists. So I said, why? They were saying dirty things about my father. Imagine. And people accepted those ideas of this horrible Freud. Is basically wrong. Whether it is historically there or whatever it is, you better give it up. Whatever wrong is wrong in the divine. Whatever is right in the divine. But there's a real objection now that people, when they go abroad, husband and wife and this and that, they kiss each other and tease each other. What is the need? You kiss the person and come and tell me against that person. I've seen it. If there has to be some self-preservation, this has to be your chastity, your privacy. That's why you have no willpower to do anything. No willpower. Let some stupid fellow come and tell you something. You will say, all right, we accept. What is the essence of your personality is your chastity. And in Sahaja Yoga, you can re-establish everything, whatever you have lost. You can. That's why the depth is lacking. And this is the reason there is no consistency in the temperament of people. No consistency. Now you'll get 1,200 people for my lecture. And next day not even one. All lost. Because there's no base, like a loose connection. There's no connection. Connection point is your chastity. So there is no consistency. Satatya is not there. If you tell them you have to get up in the morning, have a bath, do some puja, it's too much for them. But if you tell, say an Indian lady, for me, if you say that you wear such and such dress, I just can't. No, not possible. It's not possible. I can keep the whole night awake, but that thing I cannot do, just cannot do it. So the priorities are changed because where is your attention? You have everything within you. You are the storehouse of chastity, which is your power. Everything within you. Nothing has gone out. It's all there. All that fragrance is within you. It's all preserved. Don't condemn yourself. And you are so fortunate I am here to tell you all about it. You are so fortunate I am with you. Do you understand that point? You don't have to go to Himalayas. You don't have to stand on your heads. You don't have to do anything like that. You see, formerly these saints used to sit, you won't believe, in the cold, frozen water or on the Himalayas in the open. They used to sit for hours together to freeze their nonsensical ideas. Now that's not necessary. It's all made very easy. But change your priorities now. The whole attention once goes to your own spirit. You'll be surprised. The whole chart will change. What's the most important thing? To meditate every day. I have seen people who want to do some course. Say, for example, I told that you better do some course. Every day they will go for that course and join that class and they will work it out and they'll pass that course and do it up and finish it. But meditation, they cannot do regularly. But now there's a little gap, you should understand. That once we get the inkling of that joy, which is eternal, we start moving towards that more and more, and establishing ourselves in the ocean of that joy. A little. You see, when somebody wants you to swim, you are frightened. You don't want to do it. You are very happy on the gross shore. You don't want to swim. Somebody pushes you, again you are back. No, Baba, I cannot do it. But once you learn to swim, you enjoy that swimming. And then you like it and you want to do it every day, regularly, religiously. So there's a little gap which has to be achieved. Second point is that, as I've been always saying, you are lotuses, but under a mire. And you know what mire is. While India is the ocean, so it's very easy for the lotuses to come out of the water. But to come out of the mire is very difficult. Say somebody falls in the mire. If you kick it, you go deeper. If you try to do anything, you go deeper. Best thing is to keep watching it and still. And that's the best way, is to witness yourself. But your attention is not all right, how will you witness? Attention is somebody is going that side, that person will see. Another person going that person will. Must see every person. But you don't see the flowers. You don't see the trees. You don't see the Mother Earth. You don't see anything. What you see is something hopelessly bad, worse than you. Today is the day they say one should not see the moon. If you see the moon, it becomes auspicious and you get a bad name. They said Sri Krishna saw the moon and then he got a bad name. He was Ranchhod Das, means he had to run away from the battlefield. But that was his trick, he had to run away. So you are not supposed to see the moon. The reason is, why it is said, that today we have to see Sri Ganesh, who is the Mother Earth, who acts through Mother Earth. Most of the things that we have are from the Mother Earth. So this time you must see the Mother Earth, the Kundalini and Sri Ganesh. Today, the Mother Earth has created Sri Ganesha. So you don't see anything outside. You don't even see the moon. Just see the Mother Earth. Because the Mother Earth, in her love and compassion, has done so much for us. Your Kundalini has done so much for us. And her son, who is the innocence within us, is to be worshipped today because he has done the maximum. Despite all the insults we have put on him, all the ridicule, all the filth, all kinds of nonsense, still he stands up like a little child to amuse us. If Sri Ganesha is within you, become like a child, childlike innocence. You don't get angry with somebody like a dog barks on everything. There are some Saj Yogis I know who all the time barking, just like dogs or beggars in India. But you become like a child who is very sweet. He always tries to amuse you, always tries to say nice things, always tries to make you feel happy. A source of such joy. And that's how you become a source of joy, source of happiness, source of fulfillment. All the time bubbling with laughter and happiness, bubbling with beautiful things. How the children amuse you, just see and watch. How they come round with little hands, how they work it out. How they know what is the right thing. A child who is a realized soul is much more sensible than a grown-up person. I've seen that. Like my youngest granddaughter was about, I think, 3 years of age. And the maid was folding my sari. And by mistake she put it on the ground. This child just couldn't bear it. She just lifted the sari, put it to her head and put it on the sofa. She said, "What do you mean by putting this sari on the ground? What do you know about my grandmother? She is the goddess of goddesses. And you put her sari on the ground. The dogs are going to bite you now," she said. "Be careful." And she again went and took and sari, kissed it and said, "Mother, forgive her. Grandmother, please forgive this woman. She doesn't know what she's done to you." But that sensitivity comes from the depth of your chastity. You listen to the children and you'll be amazed how they talk and what they say, how they behave, how they try to amuse you. I mean, in the West, children are very much spoiled, I must say. They do not amuse you so much, they trouble you quite a lot. Because, again, the same thing. If the father and mother don't have chastity, the children don't feel all right, they don't feel peaceful, they become restless. And then they develop the same restlessness within us. A chaste man can never get possessed, take it from me. Can never get possessed. You might be very intelligent, you might be anything, you might be a great writer, but you can get possessed. But a chaste man, an ordinary chaste person, can never get possessed. Bhoots are afraid of chaste people. If one chaste person is going on the road, all the bhoots run away. They just run away. At least, I have known many cases, but some of them I can tell you that there were 2, 3 of them who used to go by motorcycle in the night about 12 o'clock on a road. And some people who were possessed wrote letters to me saying that please don't allow them to go there in the night because where should we go and stay? I was amazed. These are the people who are possessed by some sort of horrible bhoots who used to go and rest on these trees in the night where these 3 persons used to go on the motorcycle. And they actually wrote letters to me. Very possessed people, I knew them, saying that ask them not to go that way because it's where are we to live? And they were like mad people themselves. I said, why did you write like this? He said, these people go that way and they trouble us. And the negative within us disappears with the light of Sri Ganesh. You can see it so clearly in another person. If you don't have chastity, you can never see who is unchaste or chaste. You cannot. Everybody is just the same, very good, very nice person, very nice person. I mean, real possessed people are certified as very good people. In Sahaja Yoga also sometimes. And I start wondering what's happening. See, what is it? How is it these people are certified as that? Can't they feel it? There's no light. Even if you get your realization, even if your spirit is working out, your collective consciousness, even if you are giving self-realization to others, you are nowhere if you have no chastity. That's like a broken glass which is trying to reflect something. It can never give the right picture. It's so important. And I have to tell you this now. The time has come for me to tell you, this is the snag in our life. First thing people will ask, whom am I going to marry? What is such a hurry? Of course, marriage, I call it an auspicious thing. Marriage should be there. There should be a collective sanction, everything. But for what? To adore the chastity within us. Then they are married, then they have children. Then they want to have a house, then they want to have this. This whole, such an insular business goes on and on and on. and the light of your life doesn't spread. But I have known people who were just in the hell and have come out and have spread light. Beautiful meteoric heights they have achieved. I have seen people like that. So today you have come to worship Sri Ganesha. Within yourself. What is me to worship as Ganesha? I don't understand. Because I am that. When you are worshipping me, you want to have that Sri Ganesh within you awake. Let that be awakened within you. Let what I say becomes the mantra to awaken that within. So that as my children you enjoy the bliss of chastity as I have enjoyed all my human life and all my divine lives. You enjoy the same quantity, that's what I want. At least you should have the taste of it. I'm telling you about something which you may not have heard before. But you never heard about Kundalini also. We had never heard about self-realization like this. But today I think, by chance, absolutely in a Sahaja way, this puja was arranged. I was to have this puja in Bombay. It was all organized. People were all willing to come there to do this puja. I mean, a Ganesha puja in England or in the West is so important that I thought better have it one without the right time in Rome, which is one of the basic things which has ruined the chastity of human beings. Romans started it and others carried on. But it was to be here in Brighton. At the lotus feet of Sadashiva. But the English must know that they have got such a golden land and they don't deserve it. They have to deserve it. Imagine, you are living in the land of Sadashiva, where even water is also the snow, means like distilled water, clean, clear, white. Where Sri Ganesha is the one who washes the feet of his father. Where the chastity itself resides as your mother. And you have to deserve that coveted position. English Savage yogis have to come up very much. Just the opposite English wear. Coming from Sadashiva's land, just the opposite. Tremendous arrogance. Arrogance so horrible which one cannot think in Shiva's place. All unchaste people are arrogant. Otherwise, how can they forgive themselves? You talk to any prostitute, in 2 minutes you'll find out she's a prostitute because she's extremely arrogant. What's wrong? I'm a prostitute, so what? Arrogance is a sign of unchaste personality. And such a person also becomes insular because he is ashamed to face others. But a chaste personality is open. Why should he be afraid of anyone? Talks to everyone nicely, kind to everyone, in all innocence and simplicity, without falling in love in every third person you come across. And that one has to realize that this country is given to you with a purpose. And if you do not come up to that level, you will be thrown away. So, respecting your chastity is real respecting me, because I reside within you as chastity. If Sri Ganesha is the auspiciousness, I reside within you as chastity. Chastity is never aggressive, is never harsh, because there's no need, No need. You are so powerful. You are so powerful that there is no need to aggress anyone. Why should you aggress? You are not frightened of anyone. It's so generous. It's so kind. It's so beautiful. Always fresh and young, yet so sublime and so dignified. Now 12 years have passed since I have been here. 2 more years. Very intense work is needed. Within and without. Within we have to work very hard for these 2 years. Very hard. Real tapasya we have to go into. All of us. Whether men or women. And then we'll see. I can say that we have done a good job. With little job, courage and faith, we can achieve a lot. Have faith in yourself. Not mental faith, but actual chastity is faith. Chastity is the consolidation of your faith. When you have faith in God, you are chaste. When you have faith in yourself, you are chaste. You have faith in your wife, you are chaste. Why should you have faith in your wife? Because you are a chaste person. How can she be unchaste? Your faith in your child is chastity. Because you are chaste, how can your child be anything else? Crystalline form of faith is chastity. And that you can have even before realization. Many have. Actually, like the camphor, which you see is volatile and evaporates into the fragrance, in the same way, we can say chastity acts into faith. If you don't have chastity, you cannot have faith in anything. Because either you are dealing with your emotions, that you are emotionally attached to me, or maybe you are mentally attached to me. But if you have sense of chastity, a faith will be apparent within yourself. You don't have to have faith. Now, Mother, I will have faith within myself. You cannot. Faith is something which is volatile. And the volatile fragrance comes from chastity. So, from today, we are not going to look at the stars or the moon, but going to look at the Mother Earth. In the universe, she represents. The Kundalini is nothing but chastity. She is just chastity. Can you believe it? What a power. Motherhood. Everything is chastity. Fatherhood. Any relationship is chastity. Purity is again the fragrance of chastity. Goodness, compassion, everything comes from chastity, a sense of chastity, which is not mental. If you are mentally chaste, you can be horrid, like some of the nuns are, or some of those people who are austere. Not that. Chastity is an innate, built-in Kundalini within you, which acts because it understands me. She understands me. She knows me. She's part and parcel of me. It's my reflection. So make your Kundalini strong by being chaste. People try to do things to look very attractive and this and that. Don't waste your energy like this. You are saints. Live like saints. Traditionally, as we live, we have to live that way. And evolve out of the tradition. Don't do something new, something absurd, nonsensical. You don't have to attract anyone. Chastity is the fragrance in the flower, which attracts the bees, is the honey of the flower, is the essence of our existence. So this time, you are all coming to India. I have to request you to respect me by not misbehaving, not childishly behaving in the manner you see in the pictures and the films and all that nonsense. You are above all that. Attention, achievements are to be seen from the seat of your chastity. We can't leave our seats. Whether we are acclaimed or not makes no difference. We can't leave our seat. Like all these avadhutas, they'll say, takya sodasani. Means we will not leave our seats. We are in our seats. This is our seat. In the lotus. We can't leave the lotus. We are sitting in the lotus. That's our seat. Then all these nonsensical things that you have acquired will drop out. You'll see you'll become beautiful people. All bhoots will run away. All catches will run away. But it's not austerity again and again, I'm telling. It is respect of your being. As you respect me outside, you respect me within. As simple as that. Today it's a great day for us to be worshipping Sri Ganesh. He is the first and the foremost to be worshipped. And when you worship him, you must realize that you are worshipping his manifestation as well, that is of Christ. Anybody who talks cheaply about Christ, you should abhor such a person. You cannot intellectualize Christ. Anybody who does it just have nothing to do with that person. Christ is innocence. If you don't have the depth of your chastity, you can't understand. You cannot worship him. That's the best they could do, is to finish your chastity so that you never recognize him. All that comes to you through your meditative efforts. Now the effort is to be just that you have to be meditative. That's all. Keep your meditation on. Try to be meditative. See things. What is witness state is nothing but that you are meditative. So I've decided also that I'll meet the Brighton people here tomorrow morning, and I will meet all the English people, if possible, tomorrow, day after tomorrow evening, to tell them how important it is for them to achieve that state of purity. I think it's working out. I really work very hard. You have no idea how much I work hard. But this is also, they said, that is an idea that people think that others should do all their work. It is like pound saving, this saving, that saving, and also labor saving. Let mother do all the job for them. Mother is looking after us. She should get up in the morning, she should do meditation. There is no saving. You can save everything else if you just know how to save your spirit. Only your ascent is important. Once you ascend, everything is saved. First save yourself. For that, you have to put in effort. You have to work hard. You have to go deep into you, evolve yourself. You are quite capable of it. Do not blame anyone. Do not blame your wife, mother, father, country, anything. Everyone can work it out. Don't see other people. See yourself, how far I have gone. What have I contributed? Let me go ahead with it. Every one of you. I am thankful that all the people have come from all over to England. That's the right thing to do in a way. But this country must be created of that level, that it becomes a pilgrimage for everybody to come in. On the contrary, it should not happen that once they come to England, after that they never come to Sergipe. Could happen. Could happen. with the arrogance that people have, maybe that it might become like that. That once they come here, they'll say, oh, no more surgery, had enough of it. The other way around in India, once they go to India, they stick on. I've known some people that they came to England and the way some of the Sahajogis behaved and some of the ashrams were run, they just ran away and they said, Mother, nothing doing. We are not going to be in Sahajoga anymore after seeing your developed Sahajogis in England where you have worked for 12 years. So today we are sitting on this beautiful land of England and we have certain debts to be paid, to be born in this country. And the debt is that we have to be great Sahajogis. You can make out very easily who is a great Sahajogi. When you say that, shut that window, you'll find most of them will be sitting looking at others. I don't say they are all English, but could be. Make others work is not the way. We have to be really very dedicated. We are not of that level. Believe me, you are not of that level. Don't look at other people who are here. You are very different type of people. You are special people. Try to be alert. Respect yourself because you are English, and that you have a special responsibility. So may God bless you.